mentioned various countries having problems. Is that correct?
Yes, indeed.
And you said that my client, the deputy president, was a DO in Molo during the clashes.
I said, it is said that he was a DO in Molo.
It is said?
Yes.
So this is not a fact? Yes or no? It is not correct that he was not a DO in Molo.
I do not know it out of my own information, but it is public information.
What do you mean by public information? Either he was a DO or he was not. Can you confirm yes or no? Was he or wasn't he? Or don't you know?
He was a DO?
He was, no. Molo, please, let's not waste time. Was he a DO in Molo or was he not, to your knowledge?
It is publicly alleged that he was a DO in
To your knowledge, not the public, to you, Mutuse MP Kibwezi, was he a DO in Molo or not, to your knowledge?
I believe so.
I'm not asking for your belief or imagination. Do you know or do you not know?
Oh, I do not have it as a matter of fact.
Okay, let's move. Now, you confirm that you are a member of the Kenya Kwanza Coalition.
Yes, indeed.
Please go with me, if you will,
Yes.
to page 417, honorable members, 417 of volume 3 of the Deputy President's documents. Right on. And as you put a finger there, Honorable Mutuse, honorable members of the Senate, Mr. Mutuse, if you go with me to page 6 of volume 1, this is the special motion.
Volume 6.
I said that page 417, keep a finger there, page 417 of volume 3. These are annexures in support of His Excellency the Deputy President.
Yes.
And then volume 1, which is your motion, at page 6 of 85. But let's begin with page 6 of 85. You're there, page 6?
Yes, I'm there.
You're there. This is the allegation you see in the middle there, and I'll read for you quickly so that we don't get stuck, which begins with the words, a government is like a company. Can you see that?
A government is like a company.
You can see that?
Yes.
I want you to show me where in that paragraph the word tribe, ethnic, kabila appears, even once.
It is not there.
Go to page 7, overleaf. Can you see the sentence beginning, haiwezekani mtu ambaye alikuwa akipiga kelele akichunga. Can you see that?
Yes.
Show me where the word kabila, tribe, or ethnicity appears.
It is not there.
Paragraph 13. A government is like a company. Can you see that at page 7?
Yes.
Show me where the word tribe, ethnic, or kabila appears.
It is not there.
Let's go to page 8. Sisi lazima tungeangalia nyinyi. Hii serikali ni kampuni na hii ni shares. Si ndio? Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Show me where the word tribe, kabila, ethnic appears.
It doesn't appear.
Paragraph 15, does it appear?
What?
At paragraph 15, after page 8 of 85.
What does not appear?
The same words, kabila, ethnic, tribe.
No, they don't appear.
They do not appear. And finally, at paragraph 16, at page 9 of 85. Can you see that?
Let me read through. I can see nilikuwa nikichunga mambo ya watu wa mlima.
Very good. So, Mlima is a tribe.
Is a region.
Is a region. Can you please name for me the counties in that region?
Several.
Central is not a county.
I've said several.
Several, there are 10 actually. Read them out.
Kiambu, Rana, Nyeri, Embu, Rakanithi, Meru, Nakuru,
Laikipia.
Laikipia. Which other one?
The 10, all of them.
Okay.
Now, do all those 10 counties have one tribe? To your knowledge?
They do not have one tribe.
Thank you. Now, would you agree with me that the government or the party or the coalition that is the majority in the Senate and in the National Assembly is the Kenya Kwanza coalition?
Yes.
So the ruling party is Kenya Kwanza?
The ruling coalition.
Is the ruling coalition?
Yes.
And they rule because they are a majority?
Yes.
You agree with that?
Indeed.
Very good. Now, to your knowledge, if you now go with me to page 417, is a letter, can you see that? Page 417 of volume 3 of the Deputy President's documents. Can you see that?
Yes.
It is addressed to the office of the Registrar of Political Parties.
Yes.
And it is signed by our professional colleague, Professor Kifure Kendike. Can you see that? Council for Kenya Kwanza Alliance Coalition.
Yes.
You can see that?
Yes.
In the middle is a paragraph beginning with subsequently. Can you please read out for me the parties that were constituent parties of Kenya Kwanza?
Subsequently, on 12th April 2022, the following political parties were admitted and signed to join the coalition pursuant to Article 24 of the Coalition Agreement. Chama cha Kazi, Communist Party, Devolution Party of Kenya, Economic Freedom Party, Farmers Party, the Service Party, Tujibebe wa Kenya Party, Umoja na Maendeleo Party of Kenya, Democratic Party of Kenya.
Thank you. If you go with me to the first of those coalition agreements, 18, can you see that?
Yes, I am. Yes.
At the very top there, under the date, who are the constituent, who are the parties that have signed this agreement?
United Democratic Alliance Party and the Amani National Congress Party and the Ford Kenya Party.
Thank you. If you go with me to page 420, a few pages from there.
Page 420 and then?
Paragraph C, Article 5, Paragraph C. Please read that out fairly quickly.
The validity or legality of this agreement may not be subject to challenge by any founding or future coalition member party or their respective individual party members before any organ of the coalition.
And Paragraph D?
Any constitution, rules, regulations, or guidelines, whatever the nomenclature of founding or future member parties, which is not inconsistent with this agreement, is null and void to the extent of the inconsistency.
So this is the master agreement of the Kenya Kwanza coalition. Is that correct? Yes or no?
It is correct.
Thank you. Do you know why these agreements are signed and under what law they are signed?
Yes, I know.
Please tell us.
They are signed under...
You know what specific section requires a coalition agreement and what is to enter into a coalition agreement?
Well, we get to the Constitution.
I did not ask for an argument. I asked, is this the foundational constitution? And you just read about it saying that it is...
It is the coalition agreement for Kenya Kwanza, yes.
Thank you very much. Would you know whether Maendeleo Chap signed any agreement to enter the Kenya Kwanza coalition?
Yes.
You did?
I did, and they did sign.
Are you familiar with the contents of that agreement?
Yes, I am.
You are?
Yes.
Are you certain about that?
Yes, I know.
Very good. Then let's first go to the documents we're reading here. Let's begin at page 426.
Page 426?
Yes.
I am here.
Article 19, can you please read the heading?
Article 19, sharing of county assembly responsibilities of leadership.
Sharing.
Sharing.
Very good. Article 20, please read the heading again.
Sharing of leadership of parliamentary committees.
Sharing.
Yes.
Let's go to Article 21.
Sharing of national government responsibilities.
Let us start with A. UDA shall nominate the coalition's presidential and deputy presidential candidates in the general elections of 9 August 2022. Did UDA provide the president and deputy president for Kenya Kwanza coalition?
Yes.
They did.
Yes.
So that part of the agreement was implemented.
Yes.
Very good. And then you can see at Article 21, the functions of the deputy president is to chair committees, oversee implementation of cabinet decisions, and so on. Would you know whether this particular section was implemented or not?
In terms of the functions of the deputy president?
Yes. Would you know?
Yes. To the best of my recollection, it was put into effect through an executive order.
So that was also implemented?
Yes.
Go with me to page 428.
Page 428?
Yes.
We are here.
F. Can you see F at the top there?
Yes, I can see F.
A and C shall nominate the prime cabinet secretary for appointment by the president of the republic. Did the leader of ANC, was the leader of ANC nominated and appointed as the prime cabinet secretary?
Indeed.
That is correct.
Prime cabinet secretary and cabinet secretary for foreign affairs.
You can confirm the name. What's the name?
His name is Musalia Mudavadi.
Mudavadi. Yes, very good. And the functions you see at J and I, was that also implemented?
Yes, they were implemented.
Very good. Let's go to page 429.
Page 429, yes.
Paragraph L at the top.
Paragraph L at the top.
For Kenya shall nominate the Speaker of the National Assembly for election in accordance with the Constitution. Did Ford Kenya nominate and was the nominee in fact elected as the Speaker of the National Assembly?
Indeed.
Indeed. That is also implemented.
Yes.
Very good. Now, let us go to N. Please read out for us N.
ANC and Ford Kenya shall have 30% share of the positions in the national government, including cabinet secretaries, principal secretaries, ambassadors, high commissioners, heads of diplomatic missions, chairpersons of state corporations, directors of state corporations, and chairpersons and commissioners of constitutional commissions, provided that their foreseen 30% share positions in the national government shall be shared equally between ANC and Ford Kenya.
Who would be the appointing authority for those positions?
Well, different office holders.
Remember you're a lawyer.
Some by the president.
Yes.
Others by the cabinet secretaries appointed by the president.
In fact, all these
others through Public Service Commission by way of competitive.
Now, but ANC and Ford Kenya were promised 30% share positions in all these positions.
Indeed.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, they have a 30% share.
Yes.
So, when you hold shares, what are you called?
Okay. In a company, they are called shareholders. I do not know what they are called in a political party.
I'm talking about English. When you hold shares, what are you called?
Shareholder.
Thank you very much. So ANC and Ford Kenya are 30% shareholders in Kenya Kwanza, correct or not?
They are 30%.
You have just told us when you hold shares, you are a share. Let's go to what's called 22. Please read paragraph, the one that begins with pursuant.
Pursuant to the principles of equity, national development, and fair allocation of national resources, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance administration shall endeavor to fulfill the following development obligations in the ANC and Ford Kenya strongholds of Western Kenya within the electoral period starting 2022 and ending in 2077 on a priority basis.
Stop there. Please tell me, what are the ANC and Ford Kenya strongholds in Western Kenya? As a member of the coalition, please tell us.
Come again.
What are the Ford Kenya and ANC strongholds in Western Kenya?
Western Kenya,
Yeah. Read for us the counties.
or you want counties?
Of course.
That would be the county of Bungoma, the county of Kakamega, the county of Vihiga, the county of which one?
I am the questioner, you are the motion mover. Please answer. Now,
Primarily those ones.
these are priority projects for one region, correct?
Yes.
And this is a shareholders agreement, correct?
This is a coalition agreement.
Coalition agreement. It says shares. You just told us that here yourself.
Because it has a head.
Now let's read the projects. Go to A.
Completion of all existing and complete or stored bitumen road projects within the aforesaid counties is at 9th
August. Let's go. These are projects for one region, correct or not?
Yes.
Would you say, as you have alleged here, that by Kenya Kwanza focusing on one region, certain projects, what you are accusing the deputy president of saying must be implemented, how does that cause disunity or ethnic strife? As a member of Kenya Kwanza, you're the one to say this. Tell us what you had in mind.
This is in promotion of regional inclusivity of all regions in the national development.
But we're talking about Western here. Can you please show me in this document where other regions are mentioned? Please go through it quickly. Take a minute. It ends at page 433. It starts at page 418. Show me one other region mentioned there by name in the whole document.
This is a coalition agreement.
Please, Mr. Motuse, answer my question. Is there any other region mentioned by name in this document?
There is no other region.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Mutuse.
And for Kenya,
Mr. Mutuse, please answer.
Region.
Focus my question. Is there any other region?
Not in this document.
Thank you very much. That was my simple question. Let's go to page 434. Who are the signatories to this agreement?
Several.
Name them.
William Ruto.
Yes.
Musalia Mudavadi.
Yes.
Moses Wetangula. Veronica Maina. Simon Bikoro. And Christian Wamala.
And it is witnessed by who?
Professor Kindiki.
Do any of these persons bear the blame as you pile on the deputy president for causing ethnic strife by focusing on one region in a document?
None of them has made pronouncements similar to
the document. This is an agreement, and it has been implemented.
And none of them has a motion on the impeachment.
So let me understand this, and be careful with the answer here.
Yes.
Your problem with the deputy president is that he spoke out aloud what was written in the agreement that formed the government. Yes or no?
There is no way of...
No, yes or no, Mr. Mutuse?
The deputy president has...
He spoke about...
The people of Western have not been given what...
No. He spoke about shares. We've read. He said everybody deserves their share. So it is the agreement you've confirmed.
But we have also to be faithful to the agreement.
We have to be faithful to an agreement that gives shares.
A coalition agreement.
But we must... A government is like a company. I did not say it is a company. I say it is like a company. In every company, there are shares, preferential shares and ordinary shares. When there's an AGM, non-shareholders do not vote or attend. When their dividends to be divided, they're divided according to the number of shares. This is the truth. A government. And this is the government being formed here. So, Mr. Mutuse, Are you saying that the problem is that the Deputy President spoke out aloud what was written in an agreement deposited with the registrar of political parties and which formed the government?
I am not saying that because there is nowhere in the coalition agreement we spoke about a company.
All right, let's move on. Let's go to the agreement at page 435.
Yes.
Can you see that?
Yes, I can see it.
What is this agreement? Who are the parties to this agreement?
The Kwanzaa Coalition
Yes.
and the Pamoja African Alliance Party,
Yes.
otherwise abbreviated as PAC.
Let's go, if you don't mind,
Yes,
to page 438.
page 438.
Yes.
Yes,
Can you see Article 7?
yes, I can see Article 7.
Please read what it says.
Priority projects and programs. Upon winning the presidential election scheduled for 9th August 2022, the coalition administration shall ensure the following within the 2022-2027 development cycle. You want me to read on?
Or let me make it short for you. Between Article 7A
Yes,
and 7I,
yes.
I want you to tell me whether any other region other than Coast is mentioned in those priority projects. This is page 438 of volume
Want me to take that?
volume 3.
Want me to take a minute to read?
No, just please flip through in a second. It shouldn't be long. Let me help you. There's none. All of them deal with cost. Can you see that?
D is broad. It says involve local communities in the management, benefit sharing of the resources associated with the blue economy.
Do you know what blue economy refers to?
Yes, I do.
Is there a blue economy in Makueni?
There is a blue economy in Kisumu.
Very good. So this deals, other than the D, the rest of it is all cost.
Well, reverse operational changes that have been carried out in the recent past, whose effect has been to relocate some of the core activities, well, basically cost, but also with a national nature.
You can read them for yourself, their cost. Now let's go with me to Article 8 at page 439.
Page 439, Article 8.
8A. It says that PAR shall nominate a candidate for the Speaker of the Senate. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Page 439, paragraph 8A. You can see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Did the candidate nominated by PAR in fact become the Honorable Speaker of the Senate?
Indeed.
He did. Let's go to Article 9. Please read Article 9A.
Sharing of responsibilities in the national government. Upon the coalition winning the presidency of the Republic of Kenya in the general election scheduled for 9th, PAR shall submit one qualified nominee for appointment as principal secretary in accordance with the applicable law and procedure for appointment.
So PAR was allocated one principal secretary position as its share of national government. Is that correct?
According to this agreement, yes.
Thank you. Let's go to a very interesting one. Go to paragraph 9C.
Yes.
Please read 9C.
PAR shall be entitled to nominate other qualified persons for appointment for positions in the national government, including principal secretaries, ambassadors to high commissioners, chairpersons of state corporations, chairpersons of constitutional commissions, and other appointing officers commensurate with the number of members of National Assembly and senators that will be elected on PAR ticket vis-a-vis the total number of elected under the ticket of other coalition constituent parties.
In simple English, when the number of the national government positions for PSs, ambassadors, state corporations, and etc., including constitutional commissions and other appointing offices, will be allocated to PAR commensurate with the number of members of National Assembly and senators. Doesn't that mean that PAR will be allocated positions based on how well it does in the election? Yes or no?
Yes.
Let us go to page 440 again and 441. You can see that?
Yes, I can.
Again, you can see it signed by the party officials. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see.
His Excellency the President, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, the Honorable Senator of the National Assembly, my village mates and Senator Veronica Maina, Simon Gikuru, Prince Antas Wamalwa, Ibrahim Mutwafi, and Benedict Furaha. You can see that?
Yes, I can.
And you confirm this is an agreement of the Kenya Kwanza coalition?
Yes, between Kenya Kwanza and
Honorable Speaker, I'd now like to play a video. This is video number 7 in the Deputy President's documents.
Hapa Murang'a mumenipatia waziri ambaye anasimamia fedha yote ya Kenya. Anaitwa Profesa Njuguna Ndung'u. Hapa Murang'a mumenipatia chairman ambaye anakusanya ushuru yote Kenya. Anaitwa Bwana Maura, anatoka hapa Kandara. Na nyinyi watu wa Murang'a, waziri wa maji ndio huyo yuko hapa. Kwa hivyo kama kuna watu shareholders wakubwa wa hii serikali ni watu wa Murang'a. Na hiyo kazi nyingine yote tutahakikisha kwamba inatimia.
Stop there.
Watu wa Murang'a tumekubalia.
Honorable Mutuse,
answer.
who was speaking in that video?
President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto.
What words did he use? What did he say to the people of Murang'a?
That he has appointed many of their locals into his government.
Did he say, nyinyi watu wa Murang'a ni shareholders wakubwa wa hii serikali?
Yes, he did.
He did.
Yes.
And what, among other things, is one of the primary duties of the Deputy President?
To deputize for the president.
Assist the President.
Yes.
When the Deputy President assists the President in talking about shareholders, how does that become an impeachable offense that does not attach to his principal, the President?
That is not one of the functions assigned to the president by the Constitution.
It is one of the functions in your founding documents. So he's assisting him in that function. It's politics. What is the problem with that? He's a deputy party leader. Founder.
Well, I wouldn't know that.
You wouldn't know.
Yes.
Let me ask you, before you filed this motion of yours, which my colleague Elisha Ngoy called false, he used some other words.
I can remember them.
You can remember them.
Yes.
You want to, now that you know what you have done, what are they?
No, I can remember Ngoya's words.
What are they? Now that, describe yourself. What has he used? What was it used?
Go ahead. You can ask him for assistance.
Now, when you say that the Deputy President used words in support of something the President himself said, how does that become insubordination?
I have not said that the Deputy President used words in support of what the President said.
So when the President says to the people of Murang'a and not to the people of, say, Makueni, that nyinyi ni shareholders wakubwa wa serikali, is the President's words likely to incite ethnic hatred, violence, Rwanda? Are the President's words likely to turn us to Rwanda, as you suggested?
The President is not on trial.
Sorry?
The President is not on trial.
Oh, I see. So his assistant, who assisted him do the thing.
Counsel for the Deputy President. You have 30 minutes.
I'm most obliged, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Mutuse,
yes.
By assisting the President in something the President said, signed, and effected most of these appointments, would you confirm with me that most of these appointments, for example, Principal Secretary, were made by the President?
Yes, indeed.
Cabinet Secretaries were appointed by the President?
Yes, indeed.
In fact, under the Constitution, does the Deputy President have any power to appoint anybody? Sorry?
Not expressly.
No. If it's by insinuation, tell me where, which law? What law are you talking about?
President can sign an instrument for him to deputize by way of signing an instrument of appointment.
Sorry?
Maybe the President can delegate some power of appointment.
Are you aware of any power delegated in this government?
I am not.
Is there any you know?
I am not.
You're not aware of any?
Yes.
Okay. Now, one of the other allegations
Yes.
is that the Deputy President, in these utterances, thereby ensured that other regions did not have adequate development. Is that correct?
That they have the potential to discriminate.
Potential.
To discriminate.
Let me ask you something, and this is a question not just about this allegation, about the companies you said, about all the things you've said here.
Yes.
Before you filed your motion,
Yes.
did you write to the Deputy President to ask him to explain himself?
I was not under obligation to do so.
You are not.
So I did not.
I want you to go with me to page 431.
Page 431 of volume.
The volume 1, the same volume we're reading here.
Volume?
Volume 3.
Page 431.
Yes, page 431.
I'm on book.
You're there, page 431.
Page 431, yes.
Can you see Article 26?
Article 26, yes.
Yes. It deals with dispute resolution.
Yes,
Does Kenya Kwanza have a dispute resolution mechanism?
I believe so.
Did you attempt to invoke that mechanism?
This is not a dispute. This is not a coalition dispute.
Okay? And so,
It's not a coalition dispute.
I asked this question because I asked you, did you ask the Deputy President why he said any of these things? Whether he was acting on presidential instructions or why was he doing it? Did you ask him?
I did not.
You did not ask him.
I did not.
Did you ask him about these companies you are saying, what he does with them?
I did not.
You did not. Did you ask him about these companies, these parcels of land? Did you invoke your Article 35 rights to find out the truth?
I did not.
So you just jumped straight into these allegations with a motion that has animated the whole country with rumors.
There is no requirement for me to write to the Deputy President to ask for any clarifications.
Let me get this right. You're saying there was no obligation on you to verify the facts before filing the motion?
I verify them with the necessary organs of the state.
What are the necessary organs of the state you verify them with?
Registration of companies.
Yes.
They are able to verify ownership with the business registration services.
Yes.
And others.
All right, let's go to another area now. I want you to go with me to page 497
Page 497.
of volume 3. Please go with me to page 497. Go to page 497.
Yes.
You're with me there?
Yes, I am.
Page 497, can you read at the top there what it's called?
Kenya
Yes.
North and Northeastern Development Initiative.
Yes.
Mission Aid Memoir,
Yes.
March 27th
Yes.
to April 6, 2023.
As far as you're aware, does the Deputy President come from Northeastern Kenya?
No, it doesn't.
He does not. If you go with me, you can see this is about frameworks for how that area will be developed. But I want you to go with me first and foremost to page 500 and page 501.
500 and 501.
Yes.
Yes.
You can see that?
Yes.
Now, you can see there are 28 programs that were being undertaken under that program. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
You can see that.
Yes.
Now, go with me then to page 502 and 503.
502 and 503. A list of participants.
A list of participants. You can see that?
Yes.
The top 10 participants are from which office?
Office of the Deputy President.
And there are many other leaders of Kenya there. Can you see that? Page 502 and 503.
And people from different communities, I can see.
You can see that.
Yes.
I want you now to go with me to page 505.
Yes.
Can you see Annex 2? At the top there.
Active led projects that
You can see that?
Yes.
It lists a name and then it has World Bank funding financing US $1 million. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
Can you see net share in US dollars? Yeah? To do the totals and confirm that the total for the World Bank funding is $3.8 billion. The total World Bank funding for the country. Okay? Your system there can help with a computer, which is 514 billion. Being supervised by the Deputy President, that column, he can confirm, as we go on over something else, is $1.99 billion. The percentage of dollars allocated to the Navy area is 52% by the Deputy President's office.
This is not a program by the Deputy President. It is a program by the government of Kenya.
Fantastic. You raise a taxpayer's money.
Indeed.
The question is how it uses it.
Yes.
It borrows money and taxes.
Yes.
This program is run by the Deputy President's office.
Yes.
So all I'm asking is a program run by the Deputy President where 52% does not go in hatred. Is that discrimination? That's my question.
No, it is not.
Thank you very much. Go with me now to another area. Go with me to page 410.
Page 410?
Yes, 410.
Yes, Council.
You have said that the Deputy President acted beneath his office and violated his oath of office by criticizing the Director General.
Yes.
And you say that is a terrible thing.
Yes.
It's the worst thing that Deputy President can do.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you go with me to the constitutional provisions that deal with security, to the national security agencies,
National Security Council.
not the National Security Council. Please read, if you will, Article 239. Do you have the Constitution there with you?
I do not have at the moment.
We lend you mine. Please read Article 239, Sub-Article 3.
239 Sub-Article 3, National Security Organs. In performing their functions and exercising their powers, national security organs and every member and manner, cause, or prejudice a political interest or political cause that is legitimate under this Constitution.
Thank you. And so if a senior member of any security agency want to require back my Constitution, if a senior member or any member really of any security agency were to engage in that activity, that would be unconstitutional.
Indeed.
It would be worthy of criticism.
Indeed.
Now, Mr. Mutuse, you are a lawyer and a leader in this country. Are you, Mr. James Kanyoto?
Mr. James Kanyoto, I have heard much about him.
Are you familiar with a saga in Kenya called the Goldenberg Commission?
Yes, I am familiar with the Goldenberg Commission.
Was Mr. Kanyoto brought before the commission to explain his role in that commission and his role in that saga?
But not when he was in office.
I'm asking, was he brought there?
Yes, indeed.
Thank you very much.
Yes, indeed.
during the Waki Commission, there was Brigadier Gachagua called to give evidence before the Waki Commission to explain the role
in a commission, summoned by a commission,
a public commission.
Public commission,
yes,
that was formed pursuant to the laws of Kenya.
Okay. Now, you're with me at page 410. You can see that is a newspaper article.
Yes.
What is the headline?
This is on the face of it.
It can only be on the face of it, Mr. Motusa. We don't need to use.
Ruto was locked out of Security Council meeting 3 years ago.
Thank you. What is the date of that article at page 410? It's on the extreme right.
This is on 7th of July.
Yes. 11.
Yes.
Please read that article in full.
Your presidential candidate William Ruto on Thursday said he was excluded from attending the National Security Council meeting 3 years ago. The National Security Council brings together the President, Deputy President, Defense, Foreign Affairs, and Internal Security Cabinet Secretaries, explaining his take on the ongoing extrajudicial killings in the country.
Stop right there. When you played your video, you said that the problem was that the Deputy President had discussed issues of security at a time when we were having this. Now, the Minister for Interior was before the National Assembly last week, I believe it was, or the other week,
yes,
and said that 42 people died during those protests. You recall?
I do not have that, but we'll take it as you put it. Okay.
Are you aware that cases have been filed in court, including one where the Inspector General of Police was cited for contempt over allegations that the security agencies were abducting Kenyans?
I am aware of the matters in court.
Are you aware that during these protests, property of the consequence of those protests?
Yes, it did.
Yes, it did. Are you aware, as a member of parliament, that the World Bank and the IMF, as early as January 2024, sent a document in the Finance Bill 2024 would lead to protests? Are you aware of that?
I am not aware.
Now, if the World Bank and the IMF had warned the government in January 2024 that there would be protests, what should a responsible government have done in the intervening period?
The government is not on trial. Rigathi Gachagua is.
That is not my question. My question was, what should a responsible government and security agencies have done?
I am not part of them. I'm not in the executive.
I see. Let's go back to my article at page 411. There is a sentence beginning at the same time. Start there.
At page 411, at the same time, the DP also revealed that Director of the National Intelligence Service no longer picks up his calls. This, he said, has made him unable to enter the show.
Stop right there. Go to page 412.
Page 412.
In the middle, there is a sentence beginning with words, he reiterated.
He reiterated that the remarks he made in a campaign rally in Moyale that he will ensure
Closing Kenyans gain all this, that the Director of National Intelligence no longer picked up his calls, and this is being made at a rally in Moyale. Between that and the Deputy President addressing this, explain to me what the difference between those two situations is.
There is a huge difference. Number one, he begins by saying he has been locked out of National Security Council meetings. Honorable Rigathi Gachagua has not said that he has been locked from National Security Council meetings. Number two, he goes ahead and says the Director General of the National Intelligence.
I see, but they're talking about the Director of National Intelligence,
and our case is that...
And they're discussing things the public don't know yet. Correct? Yes or no, Mr. Mutuse?
The context is
no, yes or no, Mr. Mutuse?
Is distinguishable.
Yes or no?
The context is
that at this speech, the Deputy President revealed secrets. What specific secrets did he reveal?
He said, and the clip that was played, that he has been told in confidence by officers of the National Police Service. I have been told in confidence officers did not receive advanced security intelligence on the planned protest.
And this is subject to the Official Secret Act. You can confirm this.
The oath of office is that if issued, you are not supposed to make them public.
And when you made this allegation yourself, who are these officers you're saying made these secrets? They gave you these secrets.
The Deputy President, in the clip that we played, from his own mouth, says, I have received confidential information from officers of the National Police Service.
We have the most incompetent Inspector General of Police, I think, in the world. The most incompetent in the whole world. He's in to ahead and you need some decisions to be made. I can tell you for sure, the gentleman we have as an IG cannot make any decision.
The second one.
Ule mtu wa sinema mingi anaitwa ule mtu ule sijui anaitwa DCI ule anaitwa nini ule mtu anaitwa Kinoti awache ujinga kesha kesi kwa magazeti anatuandikia barua ya kilomita ngapi. Mr. Kinoti, please save your time. Stop writing to us long letters. Leave matters of elections to IEBC. You have no business in IEBC. You have failed. Kwa sababu na tukasirisha huyo bwana Kinoti, tunataka tumwambie awachane na watu wa IEBC wa...
Yes. Do you recall in the 2 years the Deputy President has been in office, in the security sector, awache ujinga? That's a simple question. So you don't recall any?
I don't recall.
Yes. Do you recall him ever speaking in that tone to any officer?
I don't recall.
Thank you very much.
And there is no motion.
I'll hand over this Honorable Speaker to my colleague, Mr. Victor Swanyaget.
Now, Council, you have 9 minutes. This witness and the other witness that are
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the senators. I'll be very brief. Mheshimiwa Mutusi, I want to refer you to your motion 45I. Paragraph 1. Yeah.
That's paragraph
5. I.
Paragraph 45, I.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you read it for us?
Additionally, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua used his office of Deputy President to exert influence and connive with the unscrupulous Ministry of Lands officials to issue an allotment letter to Amonyoro Investments Limited, a company that he owns, to acquire LR 209/12077 and LR 90923, situated at Embakasi, Nairobi, whose value is estimated at 1.5 billion Kenya shillings or thereabouts. And after that, this company used the fraudulently acquired documents to support a court case at the expense of the legitimate owner of the property.
Very good. In your allegation, you have alleged that the Deputy President connived with unscrupulous officials of the ministry. Have you placed any evidence?
I did not place, but as far as I can remember, there is information that came through public discussion.
Please, because of time, I think I want you to answer yes or no, so that we can proceed. Have you placed any evidence?
In my motion, no, but
No.
in the
No.
in the documents contained in the public participation,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you very much. Now, how many letters of
I do not know.
you don't know?
Yes.
Okay. Have you placed to this house any letter of allotment as evidence to 107, that's volume 3, 107
Volume 3?
of your documents, 107?
Page 107.
107, yes. 107, and I want 107. Are you there? That is NLC
Page?
volume 3, page 107.
Volume 3 of our documents or we are document?
Of our documents.
Your documents.
Yeah.
Letter from the National Land Commission.
Yeah. I want you to read the do you identify?
This is from the National Land Commission, signed by the then Chair, Professor Mohamed Sozuri, PhD, OGW, Chairman, National Land Commission.
When was it signed?
It was signed on the 24th day. Yes.
At that time, was the Deputy President in office?
My he was not in
He
office.
was not in office.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you will have not influenced the ministry officials to before I find you to the judgment on that matter, I want you to read the examination of the commission, which is the last page, just last paragraph. Can you read it?
The commission, I will listen to both parties and the list held by Mnyoro Investments Limited, LR number 209-12077, IR number 90923 is upheld, subject to adoption by plenary.
Is upheld.
Subject to.
But is upheld.
Subject to. You read it in whole. Subject to.
Very well.
Adoption by plenary.
Well, but the determination of NLC have already determined
it is upheld. 116.
Yes.
Yes.
I want you to go to the judgment of the judge. That's 177.
170.
177.
177.
Yeah.
176.
Yeah.
Yes.
176. Paragraph 440. Right. I. Can you read paragraph 140I?
And the declaration B and is hereby issued that the plaintiff is the lawful registered absolute owner of all that parcel of land known as LR
investment. Okay. And therefore, the judge has determined who is the rightful owner of that property. Right? That's right?
yes, the judge has determined.
Property. After that, is that your position?
Indeed, our claim is that you have defined as
Is that your position?
yes,
It is your position.
it is our position.
Even after you're seeing the examination both from the court and from the NLC.
Your questions, which will be proved that the letter of allotment came long after, and it is the letter that was used to support, to lead the court to make this decision.
Very well.
But just to remind you, you have 40 minutes to conclude your entire case.
Witness, so we propose to call our next witness, that is Dr. Andrew Mulo.
Now,
Please.
yes, counsel, before you call your next witness, the honorable senators may want to seek for clarification from the witness, so I will allow them to do that. When they're done, then you can usher in your second witness.
Much obliged, Mr. Speaker.
Senator John. Not present. Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have two clarifications. The first clarification to the council for the deputy president, and is on the matter of the first charge, of the standing orders, explain the specific relevance of the Kenya Kwanza Coalition agreement as a piece of evidence. My second question is the Council of National Assembly on the violated Section 132 of the Penal Code. So maybe we can be told a lot more about whether there was any report made to the relevant authorities as far as this charge is concerned.
Senator Newton.
Raised to seek some clarifications from the Honorable Mutuse. Very fast, Mr. Speaker. First of all, what led him to think of auditing the wealth of the Deputy President? Was he auditing institutions? And if he was auditing the think so. I believe so. He does not give convincing reasons, in my view, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, he has listed several companies, and these companies, upon closing, again, he thought that there was an intention to use them for money laundering and some other corrupt activities, Mr. Speaker. So exactly what, is it a crime to have, in his understanding, to own companies for the affidavit made by one Jomo, Mr. Jomo, about acquisition of Olive Gardens hotel, with a promise, it is alleged, that the Deputy President would buy the same later. Is it a crime?
Senator Agenda. Please kindly note down the questions. So once the senators are done raising.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask the witness Mutuse. You have been holding of the 22 companies that you have associated the Deputy President with. I want you to just clarify why you included the 22 companies in your impeachment. You set out allegations on several companies. In Kilifi County, you set out the CR12 of both. Now I want you to just tell us, to clarify, the significance of the inclusion of these two companies. Just clarify that. Also clarify the ownership of Queensgate Service Apartment and why you attribute the questions. You asked several questions by counsel on Queensgate. I want you to make a clarification. But let's go to the other question, Mr. Mutuse. In charge number 1.
Asante Bwana Spika. Mimi nilikuwa nataka kumuuliza Mheshimiwa Mutuse, mbunge wa Kibwezi Mashariki, atufafanulie mzunguka haki za Mrima. Yeye kama mbunge wa Kibwezi Mashariki na kama mbunge wa kutoka sehemu ya jimbo gatuzi la Makueni, je, alijisikia ana ya Kenya? Tueleze vizuri, tuelewe. Asante. Fafanua. Senator
But because my leader, Senator Governor James Orengo, opened this session with a verse from the Bible, I will also read one from the Bible. You shall not spread a false report. You shall not join hands with a wicked man to be a malicious witness. That is the Bible. The Mutuse, I want to know from the Mutuse, 1, really and truly, your motion. I ask that question as Speaker because on all accounts, the witness is unable to prove anything. Is this a motion? In the oath of office for the Deputy President, it is required of him to diligently serve the people of the Republic of Kenya in the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. The people that reside in the Mount Kenya region are Kenyans. What is so wrong with a Deputy President, a state officer, in defending people from a region in this country and then coming to defend other people in Nairobi and other people in other regions? What is so wrong? What is impeachable about that defense? I thank the Speaker.
Senator Veronica.
Honorable Mutuse, just to clarify a few issues. 1, are there any charges for money laundering that have been preferred against the Deputy President? That's 1. And then to confirm whether the Asset Recovery Agency, the case of the Asset Recovery Agency that was before Justice Esther Minor was fully resolved using the consent order. Those two clarifications.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I need to seek two clarifications, and one of them is from the Council of the Deputy President. This is in regards to the allegation in round 4 in terms of the consent that was reached upon for the 200 million. I heard that there was a consent after the Deputy President filed an appeal of the case, which I believe the judgment still stands. Do we have that consent? And in what circumstances led to that consent being agreed upon and the money returned, the 200 million shillings returned to the Deputy President, yet the High Court had already determined that that money were proceeds of corruption? Was it threats? Number two, I'd like to seek some clarification on the concept of shareholding. Is a coalition agreement a company? Is Kenyan government a company? Because I was still not very clear about those two issues. Because we've been invited to interpret the coalition agreement of Kenya Kwanza. Yet, every time, based on the evidence presented, all I could hear is that, so are people now part of the coalition agreement? And is the coalition agreement a company, or is it a coalition agreement registered with the registered political parties?
Senator Methu.
Get to understand from a clarification from Honorable Mutuse on the assertion that you made on ground number on this accusation that you say that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua acquired a dairy farm in Nyandara County, whether there is any evidence in record that he has a dairy farm in Nyandarua. Number two, I would also want to know from the Honorable Mutuse on this matter that you say the people of Kenya feel that they have been left out. Whether there is any evidence in record of people who have complained to the National Cohesion and Integration Commission complaining against the conduct of the Deputy President in as far as the issues that you've raised. Find the list of the directors. In your submissions, you said that the only one person who is an executive and is a beneficiary would be Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. In that will, did you see that part of the people, all the three executors are also beneficiaries? And in regards to what you have abused in the Pruitu property, it is actually one of the executors, not the Deputy President, who actually bought that particular property.
Senator Christina.
Thank you, cited, because I have a couple of verses of my own I would like to also start my contribution with. I take it to Proverbs 17, which I just read yesterday, in fact, Speaker, which say in 14 and 15. 14 says, starting a quarrel is like breaching a dam. So drop the matter before a dispute breaks out. 15, Senate detests them both, and we have a very upward hill task. My question goes to the witness. In his motion, he has used the Oxford Advanced Dictionary to define gross misconduct. I was just curious to find out why the Oxford Dictionary and not maybe a relevant Kenyan law that defines if he councils also rely upon. Thank you.
SenatRigathi.
Speaker, I want to seek clarification from the council for the deputy president. I have seen the photos and utterances for His Excellency the President. I think it's get for us as a
Senator Kanungo.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the Senate, the upper house. And my question is, you say the deputy president is tribal because he's for Kikuyu in Nairobi. Are you aware of Article 7 of the Constitution that says the state should promote local languages? Are you also aware of Article 27 that says that every person has the right to use the language of their choice? But again, would you make the same complaint if he spoke in sign language? The next question is, the deputy president has been talking about shares in government. Serikali. Shares were signed by the government officials, the nation, which is Taifa, shareholding of the country. So I would want you to tell me whether you know the difference between the two. And lastly, member of parliament to steal evidence or to unlawfully obtain evidence. We would want you to give us that indication. And also, you say the deputy president was in a company of senators in Nairobi County. I was actually one of them. Kindly refer to Article 96 of the Constitution that Senator Moses Kagame, the Senate.
Mr. Speaker, on paragraph 47 on the charge sheet, the National Assembly alleges that the Deputy President has several proxy companies, and one of them is Agro-Brick Investment Limited. In paragraph 48, SenateRigathi Gachagua. Could the National Assembly provide some evidence, because ground 7 is framed as serious reasons to believe that the Deputy President has committed a crime? Could there be some evidence to convince? On paragraph 74, the National Assembly alleges that the Deputy President has openly sabotaged the state's efforts in agriculture. Mr. Speaker, I'm a member of the Agriculture Committee, and I would be interested to get the evidence that there's been connivance with the cartels that have frustrated the development of the tea sector. Because the tea sector goes beyond the mountain, it goes all the way to Kisii and areas that neighbor Homa Bay County. And finally, which is this cooperative society whose name has been
Mr. Speaker, my clarification is to His Excellency the Deputy President on the issue of the deceased have any children. Are they of sound mind? And because it appears as though they are not involved in any of the management of the estate of the deceased. And that is the big question, and possibly a clarity that we would like to have from you. Thank you.
On what is at page 15, paragraph 41. There is the allegation being made that in the past 2 years, His Excellency the President has amazed a humongous during cross-examination. And I don't know whether you were trying to drop this allegation or you want to still maintain it. I want you to give a proper clarification that links the person against whom you have brought the motion, that is the President, of that allegation. If you could kindly clarify for me. Thank you.
Senator Murango.
Asante sana Mr. Speaker. Ningetaka kumuuliza Mheshimiwa Mutuse kwa sababu kampuni nyingi ambazo ameorodhesha pale kama ushahidi kwamba ni wewe, kwa sababu unasema unafanya kazi kama wakili, lazima ulikuwa unafanya kazi kupitia kampuni. Ilikuwa ni kwa ajili ya ulaghai ukiwa na pambako, kama wale watoto ambao umeorodhesha pale wote walitengeneza kampuni ili kulaghai pesa upitisha zile kampuni. Swali langu la pili ni kwamba Western Kenya haikuwa imeorodheshwa kuja Nairobi mahali pale pengine popote. Unasikia kwamba ulikuwa umegatuliwa kwa sababu umetoka Makueni na ile miradi iko inakuja Makueni. Asante sana Mr. Speaker.
Senator.
Honorable Speaker, unfortunately, I hear that the Bible verses have been exhausted. But I seek a clarification from my friend, Council. Because you have presented a coalition agreement to explain this issue of shareholding. Where does that coalition agreement leave members of political parties that are not signatories to the Kenya Kwanza agreements? That is the first question I would want. The place of a coalition agreement that is manifestly unconstitutional or illegal. And the page that we referred us to includes securing positions that are supposed to be competitively fair. For instance, the position of permanent secretary, things that have already been concluded in coalition agreements such as the Kenya Kwanza agreement that we've exhibited here. Thank you.
Senator Rigathi.
Asante kwa Spika. Swali langu ni kwa Mheshimiwa Mutuse. Wakati kila mtu ana uhuru ya kwenda kotini
ama kuita wazee ama kutumana. Kuna kitu Jaji Maina alifanya ndio tuweze kuelewa juu ya vile Deputy President aliongea ubaya wa jaji wa huyu jaji.
Asante Naibu Spika. Naibu Spika, niko na swala kwa kufafanuliwa na wakili wa kosa la kwanza ile ambalo lilikuwa limeandikwa gross violation. Iko katika kipengele 15. Mimi najua msimamo wangu kwamba watoto wakiwa wengi, kuna wale kwanza na kuangaliwa. Mnajua wanaendelea, chakula ni kidogo, iko na watoto ya nyumbani, haiko na watoto ya jirani, iko namna hiyo. Nataka tufanue Kiswahili hichi kinamaanisha nini kwa huyo
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If I may, the Honorable Senator Ososi, with no question directed to me, Senator Neutral, audit. I'm just doing my work as a member of Parliament and Article 94 and 95 of the Constitution. Part of my work is to oversight state officers. The Deputy President is one such state officer. I set myself to draft and present an impeachment motion, and I needed to support that impeachment motion with information. Nothing else. Why didn't I also audit the President? I was not intending to bring an impeachment motion against the President. If in future another member wants to bring an impeachment motion against the President, I believe they will be at liberty to also do their work in the manner they did. Who did this particular motion? Yours truly speaking for you, Mwenge Matuse, the Member of Parliament for Kibwezi West, did the particular motion. You have listed several companies. Yes, indeed, we have listed several companies. And just to clarify, there are those companies that I was led by advocates for His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, and I said we have no problem with them. But also, there are companies that we have issues with, and we have stated the companies that we have issues with. And you would know, because we have handled impeachment motions in the past, that just because we do not have an issue with one particular company does not mean that those that we have been proved also fall within it. But also importantly, why we listed these companies is also to demonstrate character. Character in the sense that if you have one company that is a construction company, then why do you have three others that are dormant? Why don't you use just that one that is a construction company to do your construction work? So it was also to demonstrate a web, an intricate web of activity to hide and conceal. And that's why we listed those companies. The affidavit of Jomo, it did not complete because it was time back, so I do not know what to respond because we just began mentioning about the affidavit of Jomo. Senator Professor Ojambo, the Senator for Kisumu, shareholding of the 22 companies. Yes, we have appended the CR2s for the 22 companies to show that His Excellency the Deputy President has been owning what we are calling special purpose vehicles in the name of companies, either by himself or by his children or other proxies, as part of a character of a web, which is also consistent with the Esther Minor decision, and you can see those companies listed in the Esther Minor decision that are not consistent with the normal way of doing business. Because in the normal way of doing business, you would imagine if, for example, Safaricom, that is a telecommunication company, also under it had another 20 other telecommunication companies. For what purpose? You would ordinarily, a business person would concentrate on one company, it succeeds. Then if you have a different investment that is completely different from what you are doing, is when you open a different company. But all these companies, we look at their objects, we look at everything, they are all made to do the same thing. The question is why? And remember, the offense here is reasons to believe that the Deputy President has committed crimes. And we believe this is a good basis to show that these companies are not formed for a legitimate purpose. Senator, in terms of Vipingo and Olive Gardens, Vipingo Ridge, we have been able to demonstrate that His Excellency Rigathi Gashagua's children are part of the directors, 2 of them. In terms of Olive Gardens, we have been able to demonstrate through the affidavit of Mr. Jomo that Mr. Jomo indeed was acting for the Deputy President in the purchase. And as much as we refer to a future promise of refund, all of us would know that offenses of corruption and money laundering are not straightforward offenses. And as much as we want to rely on technicality, and it is this technicality that has made it impossible to fight corruption in this country. If we look at it and all of us know how these things are being done, you would definitely see that Mr. Jomo is saying in black and white that he was a conduit for that purchase. We go to the Honorable Senator Mungatana, Senator for Tana River. Haki za mlima kama nilijisi kubaguliwa. Na nafikiri ni kweli kwamba watu ambao nawakilisha na mimi mwenyewe pia na Wakenya wengi wanajihisi kwamba kama naibu wa rais ambaye anahitajika kuongea kuhusu masuala ya Kenya mzima atazingatia tu masuala ya sehemu fulani, basi wale Wakenya wengine wote nikiwa ndani tunajihisi kubaguliwa. Na sio tu, hata wale ambao wametoka sehemu tofauti na mlima, hata wale wa mlima pia wao, you setting them against the rest of Kenyans. Senator Enoch, Exodus 23, thank you. I will keep it to myself. But I am not participating in any conspiracy against anyone. I am just doing my civic duty as a citizen of the Republic of Kenya and exercising my mandate as a member of the National Assembly, which is a constitutional mandate. I believe senators here also have done in the past, and even now and in the future, they will also bring issues in line with their mandate, in line with their responsibilities as citizens of the Republic of Kenya. Is this motion your own motion? Yes, it is my own motion. And in saying so, he's saying, I approve nothing. And that is not factual. Just to say the least. If you go through the motion 11 grounds, and you look at each grounds, most of the grounds have sub-grounds. And you will see we have given clear evidence in many of them. Incidences where we have been able to admit, like for example on the tea issue and on the Sako, Madera Sako, that by the time of presenting the motion, I had not gathered evidence and the rules do not permit that I present new evidence. I have conceded. But only on those two. That does not mean that I have not proved anything. I have actually proved most of the grounds. So I would be urging my senator for Kitui to also be fair to my case and find that even if only one ground is proved, to also vote for the approval. Because one of the videos that are presented before this House is a speech by the Deputy President at AIC Kitui, which I believe the senator represents. And in that video, you will see the Deputy President telling the people of Kitui, kwamba nyinyi Wakamba hamuna shares. Hata napigana na huyu rais sana, kwa nini anawapatia viti katika serikali? Those are the people that Senator Enoch represents, or the Deputy President told them they do not have a right to be in cabinet. In terms of the oath of office, and it was done right in Kitui town. In terms of oath of office, diligently serve the people of Kenya. Yes, and that is where the problem is. You are sought to serve the people of Kenya, not the people of a region. That's where the problem is. Senator Veronica, charges of money laundering, I am not aware of any ongoing proceedings in respect of the DP in terms of money laundering, but I'm aware of that the Justice Maina decision has not been allowed on merit and therefore still remains good law. Senator Ledana Ulikina, that was to the DP's lawyers. Senator Methu, my good friend, Nyandarua County Dairy, I consider I have not presented evidence on Nyandarua County Dairy because, of course, of the limited timelines in terms of working on this. NCRC complaining about, the question was whether there has been any complaint to NCIC about the Deputy President's remarks. I wouldn't know because I don't work for NCIC. I wouldn't know. Just to be fair. Kurowito and CR12, Kurowito was bought at 250 million, money that has not been disclosed, the source. And the owners of Kurowito is Rupingo Rich, and we have also demonstrated who are the owners of Rupingo Rich. You know, money laundering, you hide, it is a web. That's why it has become very difficult sometimes even to investigate money laundering. And there is no dispute that the two sons of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua are directors of that company. That has not been disputed. Senator Asigi, while we are using the Oxford Dictionary and not Black's Law Dictionary, law has now also delved to the place of the common citizens also to understand what it is and not the jargon of the past. And so Oxford Dictionary also offers plain English definitions, and we thought it is also good to use plain English definition because not all of us are lawyers. I do not think it is disputed that the definition we have given is wrong in terms of what constitutes gross misconduct. Senator Karungo, my very good friend also, speaking in tribal language in Kikuyu, and whether that is not permitted under Article 7, Article 27, Article 44. Clearly, the Deputy President is a state officer and has taken oath to promote national unity. Nairobi is our capital city. All communities are here. It cannot be said that Nairobi belongs to the Akamba, much as we border here, or the Luya, or the Kikuyu. When you speak in Nairobi, you must be sensitive. It is just like speaking in Senate in Mother tongue. Shares and company. Clearly, my answer and response is we are not, the Deputy President has told about Kenya is a company. I got the services of whistleblowers when people knew that I want to do this. I got the services, I got a lot of information from whistleblowers whom I do not intend to disclose their identity because they are protected under the Witness Protection Act. Honorable Kajwang, my counsel will be talking about the issue of Prodika and how it is one particular director is is connected, is linked, the nexus between that particular director and His Excellency, the Gachagua, that we have not presented adequate evidence in terms of sabotage. But Kenyans will know that that role is domiciled in his office and the price for tea has not become any better. In fact, it is still oscillating up and down. The cooperative society are also considered. We have not presented evidence. Senator Omoka, the question was to the DP's legal team. Senator Omogeni, page 15, paragraph 41, whether I can tabulate, and during our closing remarks, we'll be able to, we'll be at our conclusion remarks, we'll be able to answer this question, but just for your information, the land acquired through Amunyoro Investments is 1.5 billion. The Abadeas, when we added, came to about 1 billion shillings. When you add Pruito, 250 million, and others that will be showing 412 million for Olive Gardens, they will all come to the figure that we are talking all there about.
Now allow your
team
to respond to the question.
Mr. Speaker, I believe the question was about whether there has been a complaint with regard to ground 8, any report to the relevant authorities. I believe there was a related question on whether the DP has been subjected to any prosecution for money laundering or related offenses. We are not aware of any complaint under Section 132 of the Penal Code to the police or any other relevant authority. Equally, we are not aware of any prosecution that the DP has been subjected to, but in our opening and closing we'll be showing you it is immaterial whether there has been such a complaint, whether there has been such a prosecution, because when we get there, we'll be showing you the Supreme Court has said times without number, the Court of Appeal has said times without number, that impeachment is about political hygiene, it is about political responsibility, it is not about whether there is criminal liability or whether there is civil liability, and we'll be hoping we can persuade with lots of humility that nothing turns on whether, as a matter of fact, complaints have been launched or prosecutions have ensued, and those are not my words. They are the words of our Supreme Court, as I said, not once or twice, but several times. Thank you.
The legal team of the Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I will speak to the questions on the shareholder question. Honorable members, please permit me to answer this in omnibus, but I'll attempt to do my level best on this. The first question was, why is the President relevant in these proceedings as regards shareholders? He's relevant in two capacities, three actually. Number one, under the Constitution, the Deputy President assists the President. And so when the President tells the people of Moranga and elsewhere that they're the biggest shareholders of government, when he signs a contract that founds the government, the Deputy President is bound to assist the President in moving that shareholder issue. That's number one. Number two, the Article 73, Subarticle 2, Subarticle C, Roman numeral 1, talks about honesty being a foundation principle for leadership. It is well known, I think I can say it here, my client, the Deputy President, is known as the truthful man. It is pursuant to this that he is truthful. Number three, a contract and covenants in a contract must be performed if indeed any government, any contractor worthy of their name, worthy of their signature is to be believed in the future. The president, the party leaders all signed these contracts with the intention that they should be complied with. You will note that in the sections we read out for you here today, the president, the deputy president, is insisting that the promises made to the people of Western Kenya should be complied with to the letter. The promises made to the people of Coast in an agreement should be complied with to the letter. Equally, all other regions that have agreements signed or promises made in these coalition agreements ought to have those promises implemented. That is the basis upon which he says it is important that we keep our words. Fourthly, the coalition agreements were in fact executed. The president and the deputy president came from UDA as the agreement said. The speaker of the National Assembly came from Fort Kenya as promised in the agreement. The speaker of this honorable house and a learned friend and colleague was in fact elected as the speaker of this house. And all the other promises that have been made were being implemented. But more importantly, as a matter of law, agreements that underpin coalition building are actually a legal consequence. They draw their force from the law. And I think Honorable Mutusa here mentioned it broadly, but I can tell you exactly where it is. Schedule 3 of the Political Parties Act requires every coalition to draw a coalition agreement. That is number one. Number two, it prescribes what is to go in that agreement. Among the things that the Political Parties Act Schedule 3 prescribes must be in the agreement is the sharing of power and responsibilities. So it's a matter of the law. And if when the honorable members here retire, you will find that Article 108 of the Constitution delineates power in both the National Assembly and in the Senate on the basis of coalition agreements and who has the majority, who is the largest shareholder, if you will, in each of those two houses. Fourthly, or fifthly, I think it is now, I think we said this before, the deputy president had no power to appoint or implement any of those things. All he could do was speak to the agreements that had been signed by the party leaders, and that's all he was doing. He was expressing what was in the agreements and saying we ought to keep our word, we ought to do what we promised in these documents which we filed at the registrar of political parties. Sixthly, in the statements that were read to you in the videos, there are two things to note. Number one, the deputy president is talking about government. He's very clear. He doesn't say the nation. He doesn't say the national cake. He doesn't say resources. He says, just to read for you one example, at page 6 of 85, a government is like a company, government. He's not talking about resources, he's talking about government, and that's all it was. It is important for members to remember, to recall, that these provisions of the law I am sharing with you here followed the famous, or should I say infamous, NAC MOU, which became very litigious. I had the privilege of participating in that case. The famous NAC MOU was set aside because it had no anchoring in law. That was corrected, and that is what these agreements are about. Seventhly, and I think I'll combine this with, although I'll come back to that later, but the deputy president, in the videos, when you listen to them correctly, says The president needs to work with people who believe in his policy, who believe in his manifesto, who will implement what he had in mind when he campaigned on a specific platform. That's what he's saying. And it's very simple. If you don't believe in my policies, if you don't believe in my manifesto, how are you going to be the one I appoint to implement that? It wasn't about tribes. It was about manifesto, it was about policy, it was about specific issues set out in agreements. Now, political rhetoric might use certain words. Politicians use all manner of words. The party I represented in the last election was called Mganga many times in the campaign trail. But we know he's not a Mganga, you know. So, but it's political talk. Number 8, these arguments were not limited to Kenya Kwanza, as I said, because they're part of the law. The government that preceded Kenya Kwanza, Jubilee, had similar arguments deposited with the registrar of political parties. Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya, had a similar agreement. It's only that they never got power, but they had a similar agreement. And the reason for this is that even internationally, these agreements are known as power-sharing agreements. There's no magic to it. That's what elections are about the division of power. That's what it is about. And because of that, these agreements in fact do the opposite of what Honorable Mutuse is saying they did. He says they cause disunity. In fact, they are a source of unity when the diverse sectors of the Kenyan society can get together. For example, Kenya Kwanza, I think, had 16 or so parties. Azimio had 25. The different characteristics of Kenyan society are captured in all those parties. That's what coalition building is all about. And it not only works at national level, even at the devolved level, we have what are called negotiated democracy agreements, like these ones, which take into account clans and that sort of thing. Now, my learned friend, my good learned friend, Mr. Sifuna, asked a question about what happens to the others who are not mentioned in these agreements. We have a practical example. Members of his party, ODM, are now in government. The party, the contracts left room for accommodation. My good friend,
order. You cannot raise a point of order on the council. Yes. You cannot. Council, you have 3 minutes to conclude.
Thank you. I just wanted to set the point that the agreements were dynamic, that politics is dynamic, that these things have a way of settling themselves, and they do. But the next point I wish to say, I cannot say, I think he asked me the question about, for example, the constitution requiring PSs and others to be advertised. I cannot speak to how Kenya Kwanza intended to implement that, but like I've demonstrated, it was implemented. They found a way to do it. I don't know how they did it, but we're just speaking to what they did. Honorable Stuart Mazayo asked a question about Chakula Kikeva. You will note that a lot of the videos that were played here today were made in Nandi or in Kericho. There was a very specific reason for that, and the Deputy President himself will be addressing that question today. The only other thing I can tell you about those videos is that whenever the Deputy President raises that question, either in Nandi or in Kericho, he is cheered widely. It is a very popular issue in those two counties. Finally, I think to a question that was asked about how Honorable Mutuse and others would feel, even regions that did not overwhelmingly vote for Kenya Kwanza, including, for example, Machakos, Makueni, and Kitui, actually got 2 cabinet secretaries in the cabinet in the fullness of time. And so no one was actually discriminated against. This was not about tribes. I think the confusion has been brought about the Mutuse's motion. This was about sharing of government and those who believed in the policies of this government. I hope I have attempted to address all the questions you have raised.
Conclude by responding to Senator Omakina's consent issue.
Sorry, Senator. If you could remind me the question, I'm sorry.
The consent.
the consent is being addressed by my good and lovely friend, Mr. Elisha Boy.
Yes, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, distinguished senators. The distinguished senator for Narok County has asked succinct questions. Number one, if you look at the petition claimed two things. That number one, the Deputy Chief Justice has no respect for the judiciary, which is why he made the allegations that he made against Justice Esther Maina. And number two, that the Deputy President, my apologies, lied when he said he was going to file a complaint before the GSC. So you respond to the motion as presented. Now, to respond to that, there was no necessity to file this consent because the consent does not address itself to the claim by the DP that is going to file a complaint against the judge. What then happened, distinguished senator, is that the witness came here and then began taking this court through the judgment of Maina, now altering the claim as presented in the motion, which is why we had now to take him through the issue of the consent. Now that addresses, and so we have not presented the consent before this Senate because the motion as framed did not require the consent to respond to it. But having said that, my learned colleague, the mover of the motion, makes a false statement that a consent does not determine the merits of the matter. In fact, a consent determines the merits of the matter. When you enter a consent and say that the judgment that was rendered by the trial court, you are entering a consent to state a different state of affairs. You are actually vacating that judgment. The trial court had taken the money in question from the DP to the Asset Recovery Agency. The consent took the money from the Asset Recovery Agency back to the DP. That is the substance of the matter. So, the argument by the mover of the motion before you that a consent does not settle the matter on the merits is law upside down. Law upright is that a consent settles the merits of the matter that it addresses. Thank you so much.
Honorable Senators, can I give an indication from Council for the National Assembly? How many witnesses do you intend to call beyond Honorable Mutusa?
Mr. Speaker, we have 3 more witnesses, and while on it, at the point we stopped examining the Honorable Mutusa, you said we have 45 minutes.
Yes,
but when I went there, you said 40, so we were a bit alarmed.
No, you have 45 minutes.
Much obliged.
And the team for the Deputy President, you exhausted your time, but there was 10 minutes that has been occasioned by the technicality of the videos. So you need to utilize that with the remaining 3 minutes. Now, Honorable Senators, Honorable Mutusa is not going to leave. He's going to stay on as we hear the 3 witnesses, and then if the other clarifications that Honorable Senators wish to direct to you, please be available. Kindly usher in the second witness.
Mheshimiwa Speaker, we as counsel for the Deputy President would wish to borrow from our time tomorrow, the time you allocated, so that we can be able to effectively cross-examine the witnesses that the National Assembly is going to call now. We don't want to go outside our time, but we need...
How much time do you have to borrow from your tomorrow's time?
1 hour.
Keeping in mind that by the arrival by
1 hour will be adequate. From the 3 hours we have to
we'll overshoot the runway. 1 hour is a bit too much. We will go beyond 30
minutes?
Yes. Very well. Quickly swearing the witness.
Do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before the Senate in respect of the matters before the Senate shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Sir, would you tell the Senate who you are and your professional background?
My name is Dr. Andrew Mulo, a medical doctor by profession, working in the Ministry of Health, and previously working acting CEO of Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, Chemistry.
Please confirm whether you're the one that swore the affidavit on page 67 of volume 1.
Yes, I am.
In respect of which allegation in the motion did you swear this affidavit?
I have sworn affidavit on issues raised on paragraph 45J, 78C, in ground 7 and 11 of the motion for removal of the office by impeachment of His Excellency, the Deputy President, Rigathi.
Paragraph 78 of the motion, what does this say? 78A, that will be page 37 of 85.
78A, to illustrate, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua bullied Kenya Medical Supplies Agency officials into awarding a tender for the supply of mosquito nets to Crystal Limited, his proxy company. Crystal Limited had submitted its written effective document with the sole intention to fraudulently acquire public property.
Dr. Muller, did Crystal submit a tender in this procurement for the mosquito nets?
Crystal did not submit a tender for this procurement, but was the local agent for a company called Shapika Impacts Limited, which submitted bids, and part of the local documents, like the pesticide control board certificates, were actually submitted by Crystal in the tender document.
So Crystal was actually the one submitting the bids?
There was a reference of Crystal in some of the local documents that the bidder had to submit.
I want to refer you to volume 8A of the Assembly's document, page 18 of 19. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
What is the title of that letter?
His appointment as local agent for Duranet LLI in Kenya.
This Duranet, is it the mosquito net that was being procured? Or is it a different one?
Duranet is a company that initially used to do that which changed to Shopika, and I think in this letter it is Shopika writing to confirm that they have appointed Crystal as their sole local agent in the country.
What does it say in the second paragraph?
We are pleased to appoint Crystal Kenya Limited at State House Avenue, Liaison House, third floor, of PO Box given Nairobi, Kenya as our exclusive agents in Kenya for promotion, marketing and sales of Duranet long-lasting insecticide nets manufactured by Shobika Impex.
Page 17 of that document, what does the second paragraph say?
There was a change of ownership for Duranet LNI.
Read it loud.
And there's change of ownership for Duranet LLIN, which is alpha cypermethrin 0.55%, WW registration number PCB CR 0189.
I'm referring to volume 8A, page 17. What does the second paragraph of that letter say? Can you read it in full?
We have taken note of the change in ownership of Duranet LNI from Clark Mosquito Control of USA to Shobika Impex Private Limited India and appointment of new agent Crystal Kenya Limited.
The documents we have so far read in volume 8A, sir, do they show a link between Shobika and Crystal Limited?
Yes.
Is Crystal Limited, to the best of your knowledge, connected to the Deputy President?
From my affidavit, I did not know initially that there was a connection.
Yes.
But through a phone call from His Excellency the Deputy President and conversations between myself and his son.
We'll come to those phone calls and conversations, but for now,
I was able to establish that there is a connection.
There is a connection. Let's go to page 10 of 19 of volume 8A. Who has authored that letter? Page 10 of 19.
Page 10 of 19 is a letter from Ethics and Corruption Commission to myself as the acting CEO, dated 21st of August 2023.
Is this a body that would authoritatively speak to matters of corruption in public procurement?
Yes, it is.
Is it authorized to investigate such matters?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Now, this letter, what was the letter asking you to do at page 10 of 19?
The letter was giving recommendations for administrative action against procurement officers, Cosmas Rotich, Anton Chege, and Caroline Mugo, who are officers working in KEMSA and participated in the procurement of the mosquito nets.
Towards the bottom of that letter, Roman 1, what does the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission tell you?
It says, and I read, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Technical Evaluation Committee, here abbreviated TEC, recommended the award of tender to Shobika Impex Private Limited, yet their bid was paginated in pencil and was not sequentially paginated contrary to instructions to tenderers clause 20.3, which provided documents to be paginated using indelible ink and marked sequentially.
Does that paragraph you just read show there was corruption or wrongdoing of any type in processing this tender?
It does, Honorable Speaker.
And who was benefiting from this manipulation of the tender?
Shobika.
Is that the same company that the Deputy President's company, Crystal, is the local agent?
Yes.
Given those series of events, would it be fair for anyone to suggest the Deputy President did not have a hand in the procurement irregularities for this tender?
I think I would say Shobika,
yes,
was irregularly being recommended for award of a tender without meeting the set criteria.
Would you say it's just coincidental, sir, that a company connected to the Deputy President was awarded a 3.7 billion tender?
I was not in KEMSA at the time, and I would not imagine that KEMSA being a procurement entity whose core function is to procure,
Yes.
the technical teams would have proper understanding of procurement procedures and therefore would not make such, would not recommend award of a tender to a company where they are glaring failure to meet the criteria.
Given the contents of your affidavit and the phone calls will come to from the Deputy President and his sons, would it be fair for anyone to suggest this matter on page 10 was just another coincidence that the company irregularly awarded the tender was one connected to the Deputy President?
I don't think it would be.
You don't think it would be fair?
Don't think it would be a coincidence.
It is not a coincidence. In your estimation, say, would a fair-minded person faced with the facts you have so far taken as group think it was a coincidence that a company linked to the Deputy President of the Republic was irregularly awarded a tender for 3.7 billion?
The Speaker, Honorable Senators, I think having had the advantage of interacting with the documents that are before us, I think I would say from the record, the big bond that is being referred here was delivered as a mail and not as part of the tender document.
Page 8 of 19 of still volume 8A, towards the bottom, Roman 1 again, does it show yet another irregularity involving this Shobika Impex, the company linked to the Deputy President?
Which page?
That would be page 8 of 19, Roman 1 towards the bottom. Does it disclose another procurement irregularity besides the one we saw on the other page?
Here it says, and this is a letter from Ethics and Corruption Commission, that the Director Procurement interacted with the bid security for Shobika Impex Private Limited on the 24th of February 2023, prior to the tender opening date, which was on the 10th of March 2023, contrary to tender instructions for tenderers number 21.3.
Please confirm whether the Deputy President in his public address on the 7th confirmed to the Republic that he placed phone calls to you with regard to this tender.
Yes, he did, and in my affidavit I have as well alluded to the same, that he called me to follow up on the release of the bid board.
Do the duties of the Deputy President of the Republic extend to placing calls on junior government officers about tenders?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
But did the Deputy President also admit in that public address that his son equally called you?
Yes, he did.
Are those the phone calls alluded to in paragraph 4 of your affidavit?
Yes.
You have also said, besides the phone calls, the son of the Deputy President sent you WhatsApp messages. Have you annexed any of those WhatsApp messages?
Yes, I have. In my affidavit, page 70 of 85.
In those affidavits, in that page 70, who is the person indicated as sending the message?
Dr. SenatevRigathi.
Who does he say he is contacting you on behalf of?
He tells me that he is contacting me. He asked me to contact him when possible. There is a document for His Excellency that he is trying to collect.
Was this document in your possession at that time, or where was it?
The document at the time was which was investigating the anomalies of the procurement of the airlines.
So the Deputy President and his son are pressuring you to surrender a procurement document under active investigation by the Ethics and Corruption Commission.
Yes, Your Honor.
Would that be interfering with active criminal investigations?
From where I sat as acting CEO, I felt pressured because the documents were not within our custody, and had to actually make effort to follow up with the Ethics and Corruption Commission for the documents to be released back.
Have you placed any evidence before the Senate to confirm these documents the Deputy President and his sons who are harassing you to surrender were actually under the custody of the Ethics and Corruption Commission?
Yes, I have submitted my letter to the CEO, Ethics and Corruption Commission, asking for the bid board documents for Shobika.
We are
at page 73 of 85.
Page 73 of 85.
Yes.
Can you read the relevant part, which I believe it's 72 of 85, Mr. Speaker, of volume 1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, 72.
Can you read that paragraph? What does it say?
This one that I wrote to Ethics and Corruption is actually 73.
Okay.
And the investigations, and all the documents related to this tender are not under our custody. We have, however, written to the Ethics and Corruption Commission to release the original bid bond to facilitate your request. They had requested for release of the bid bond.
And the one in
through a letter dated 12th June 2023.
And the one in 73, in summary, what were you trying to do?
I was requesting the CEO, the Ethics and Corruption Commission, for the bid bond for Shopika Impex Private Limited for the malaria net tender, which I had requested, that I informed him of the letter that we had received from Shopika requesting for the bid bond.
So, given the magnitude of this tender and the national crisis it stoked, would anyone expect the Deputy President, when he was harassing you, to know that the matter was under investigation, and active investigation for that matter?
I would believe so.
Lastly, sir, claims have been made on this floor that the allegations against the Deputy President transcend the force to the ridiculous to the embarrassing. This material you have taken us, is it consistent with the narrative that ground 11 of this motion is false, ridiculous, and embarrassing?
Through Speaker, Honorable Senators, what presented before this House is the truth, nothing but the truth, and verifiable by document. Presented.
6 of your affidavits, sir.
Given the state involved in the interference with the investigations and cover-up of irregularities surrounding the procurement of treated mosquito nets, I was constrained to surrender the original bid bond to Ogora Wilson Okulo, and in short, I was caught in a tricky situation. Being a junior, there was nothing I could do as a junior government officer against a sitting deputy president for the Republic of Kenya.
That's all for purposes of the examination in chief of this witness, Mr. Speaker.
Counsel for the Deputy President.
Good evening, Mr. Mulwa. Good evening. My name is Devan Jiro. I'll be asking you several questions in respect to the testimony that you have just delivered.
When did you join the 10th of September of March 2023? Before that, who was the CEO of the organization? Ramadan? Were you there as and when the alleged tender processes were I was involved. You involved in at the time you joined the organization. What stage of the tendering process was it? The tender had just been terminated. There were investigations. The tender had been terminated. Yes. You therefore never participated in that particular process whatsoever for whatever purpose. Yes. I participated in a very big way. All right. Would you then lead this assembly to understanding your participation in that tender? This matter was a matter that, one, what exactly did you do that relates to this tender? I participated in the investigations on this tender. So you participated, excuse me, by PPRA, by the Senate, by the National Assembly. But at the time when the bids were alive, the bidding was alive, you had not joined. I was not in KEMSA. And therefore the issues you are testifying before this assembly are not issues that you witnessed. Not issues that I executed. Thank you. Now, what was the status of the tender at the time you came or you joined? I actually joined KEMSA as a result of this tender. No, I'm not asking why you joined. What was the status? The tender had been terminated. The tender had been terminated. Do you know of any company that is associated with the deputy president that succeeded in this particular tendering process? For purposes of... You know or you do not yes, know? Yes, Shobika had been recommended for award, but since it was cancelled, did not proceed. Was the award granted to Shobika? No. Do you know why the award was not granted? Yes, I know. Yes, because Global Fund do a pre-award review of every evaluation of Global Fund funded tenders, and after doing a pre-award review, they did not agree with the technical evaluation committee that had evaluated the tender and recommended for cancellation of the tender. Okay, you've answered. So it's as a result of the review of all the bids that culminated into the cancellation of the tender, correct? Yes. And how many companies had bidded in that particular process? I cannot remember, but maybe 9 or 7, I cannot remember. You cannot remember because you never participated, yes? Yes or no, Mr. Witness? If I get the record, I would remember. Also, show him the records, or he has it. Show him his affidavit in volume 1. In that volume 1, that is at page, Honorable Senators, the National Assembly volume 1, at page 67 and 68. Did you indicate the companies that participated in that process? I did not indicate the companies that you chose to conveniently refuse to indicate them, correct? Correct or not correct? I don't need an explanation. Not correct. Why didn't you indicate the companies that participated in that particular process? My affidavit. Your affidavit explained. My affidavit is premised on... Okay, I know your affidavit. Yes. I have read it several times, but my question is very specific. Why did you leave out the other companies that participated in the process? For purposes of my affidavit, I did not find it necessary to... Never found it necessary. Now, confirm that Shobika company was never ever awarded the tender. The tender was cancelled.
Tender was cancelled. Did the Republic of Kenya lose any money as a result of the award not being granted to Shobika?
Yes, it did.
Did the Deputy President have anything to do with it? Did the Deputy President have anything to do with it?
I wouldn't say the Deputy President.
I'm asking, we are here because of the Deputy President. Did he have anything to do with it?
A company related to...
I'm asking, did he have anything to do with it? It's a simple question. Yes or no?
I already have...
Yes, and you furnish me with an answer.
I've said yes, because the company that is associated with him had been irregularly awarded.
Had been irregularly awarded. Do you know that this matter was subject of investigation by Parliament?
Yes, I am.
Did you participate in that investigation?
Yes.
Honorable Senators, refer with me to page 183, volume 3 of the Deputy President's bundle. Volume 3, Honorable Senators. That is the report. We'll go with me to page 220. At page 220, Mr. Witness,
can I get the document?
volume 3. Page 220. Yeah, can you see confirm that those were the companies that participated in that particular tender, yes? At page 220.
Yes, there are some 17 bidders.
How many are they?
17.
Go to page 221 and you read, can you see what is written 100?
Yes.
Can you read out that statement?
In its report dated 25th April 2023, Global Fund noted that KEMSA had failed to apply evaluation criteria consistently to all bidders and that none of the bidders met the minimum requirements.
None of the bidders met the minimum
requirements.
How many bidders did not meet the minimum requirements?
For purpose of this report, what the Global Fund is talking about are the 17.
Oh, the 17. And therefore Shobika was not an exception, correct? Shobika was not an exception. It never qualified, correct?
Yes.
Now look at where we have page, paragraph 105. Yes, can you see where we have Roman B? So we have B. Can you see B? 105, paragraph 105B. Yes, can you read what B says?
The Global Fund document reported that the bid bond for Shobika Index was not paginated, and the management of KEMSA argued that the bid bond was not part of the bid, but was rather an accompaniment.
What is that? What does that mean?
I think
not thinking, reading and understanding.
It means, and I had said exactly the same, that this document was not submitted as part of the tender document, but was brought in as ordinary mail, while in normal procurement, bid documents
Can you look at paragraph? Can you go to page 2?
Recommend determination of a process.
Yes.
The CEO approved on the 5th and determination was communicated to all the bidders.
So there was a termination of the bidding process, correct?
Yes.
As a result of non-responsiveness of all the bids, correct? As a result of non-responsiveness.
Yes, after Global Fund differed with the KEMSA Technical Evaluation Committee.
Did the Deputy President have anything to do with that?
I would not say.
Would you associate that to the Deputy President?
I am not competent to talk about.
Page 219. Page 219. Can you see where you have?
I would not say whether they are correct or
not. Have you seen any interference that indicates that? Yeah, I know it's not yours.
That's why I cannot own a statement that is not mine.
I have not asked you to own it. I've asked you a simple thing, to read the statement as indicated. Who was interfering with the processes and the autonomy of KEMSA? According to that statement,
the statement can be cited for.